Good evening. Welcome to this week's meeting of the Norton Board of Selectmen. Today is March 7th, 2019. Let the record show that all members are present, along with Town Manager Michael Units. Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, on the licenses and permits, we have a vote to modify the address on the Class 2 license issued to Edward Epperl, DBA Ed's Auto Repair, 32 King Philip Road, to include 16 Somerset Street rear and change middle initial to A. We've already issued the license. He's having trouble with the registry getting his plates back because we had the wrong addresses and the wrong information on the license. So the change again is to change it from change it as 32 King Philip Road, but also include 16 Somerset Street rear, and change his middle initial to A. Anyone have any questions? Seeing none, the chain will entertain a motion to modify the address on the Class 2 license issued to Edward F. Brault, DBA Ed's Auto Repair.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Anything under announcements, Mr. Salvo?
I have one, Mr. Chairman. Sent to us by the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, District Council of Attleboro, End Poverty Through Systematic Change. The agenda will be 2019 Legislative Forum. Join us for conversation with our local state legislators about public policies to help the poor and marginalized Attleboro area. Saturday morning, March 23rd, 2019, 10 a.m. to noon. Be at Wheaton College in Norton, Mass. At the Holman Room, Mary Lyons Hall. Sponsored by the Voice of Poor Committee, Society of St. Vincent de Paul, District Council of Attleboro, and put on by the Norton Council of Aging and several others groups. And that'll be Saturday morning, March 23rd, 10 to noon at Wheaton College at the Holman Room, Mary Lyons Hall. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Grimo?
I have nothing.
Mr. Steele?
Mr. Chairman, tomorrow is the 17th annual It Takes a Community Kathy Bailey Memorial Basketball Game. The teams are the Norton Police versus the Norton Teachers. The game will start at 7 p.m. Friday, March 8th at the Norton High School. The proceeds directly benefit the Norton families struggling with difficult financial situations. Master of ceremonies will be Stephen Bishop from Men of Many Hats. There will be raffles, silent auction, face painting, and balloons. If you'd like to sponsor the event, or if you have any questions, or if you'd like to get tickets, you can contact ITAC, as in It Takes a Community, itacnorton@gmail.com. That's all I have.
Thank you. Clarity?
All set, Mr. Chairman.
I have one. The Norton Village Center Vision Plan will be a public meeting on Wednesday, March 13th, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Yale Elementary School cafeteria, 64 West Main Street here in Norton. Come hear about the new vision plan for the Norton Village based on your ideas and what you see for the future in this area. The next steps we'll tackle will be traffic, better pedestrian and bicycle safety, promotion of public transit, encouraging development that creates an exciting and interesting place to be. If you have more information, you can contact Paul here, the Director of Planning at the Economic Development at 508-285-0279. Again, this is the plan to revitalize the center, what we call the center of town, 123 and 140. Okay. Next, we have an introduction of Kelsey P. Macio, permanent full-time firefighter paramedic. Chief Sliker. Evening.
Good evening. So at your last meeting, you appointed 2 new firefighter paramedics, and one of them was unable to be here that night, so we know that you enjoy getting to meet and hear from the new hires. So we brought Kelsey in tonight to say a few words about herself. I will tell you that she went through the civil service process, but she was already full-time in Lakeville, and as such, she's already got her firefighter 1 and 2 certification, a lot of experience under her belt. So the good news with that is the other new hire, Tori, isn't going to the academy until September. It won't count towards staffing until probably the end of December, whereas Kelsey will start her 4 weeks of days and then will count as staffing. So it's actually going to help the department with our open positions and stuff. So she came highly recommended by the retired chief from Lakeville, and I had a good conversation with her current lieutenant from Lakeville, and again, speaks very well of her. So at this time, I'd like to have Kelsey say a few words.
Good evening. As Chief mentioned, I'm coming from Lakeville. That's where I'm born and raised. I currently reside there with my husband and 18-month-old daughter. So before I started working for Lakeville Fire, I actually attended Anna Maria College, where I got my bachelor's in paramedic science, as well as a bachelor's in fire science. I then continued on and got my master's in public administration from there. So for now, I think I'm going to take a little educational break. But I've still been going up to Stowe and attending academy classes there after getting my 1-2 certification. I was on a prearranged trip that I couldn't change, so I appreciate you all appointing me that 3 weeks ago. And I just really look forward to working for the town of Norton. Is that good? Perfect.
Appreciate it. Okay, Chief, next on the agenda?
Okay, so next, a year ago, December, we had Deputy Chief Miles retire from the fire department, and at that time, Captain Sean Simmons was appointed acting Deputy Chief, and we had a civil service assessment center, and Deputy Simmons topped the list on that, so we're looking forward to having the deputy's position filled in a permanent role at this point moving forward, and I'd like to have Deputy Simmons say a few words.
Yeah,
So,
thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity to continue the work that I think I've already started to do. I'm working really hard, trying to do a good job, and I'm really looking forward to continuing that, trying to make myself better, make the department better, and I just feel blessed. I have one of the best jobs in the world. I work with some of the best people you could think of, so thank you very much.
So you hear about some of the regionalization stuff. Deputy Simmons is actually in charge of the Bristol County Technical Rescue Team, and he's doing a really great job with that, moving it forward. He spent this morning in a high-end meeting on that. They're looking to actually change how that operates to have it mirror more like the hazmat team does statewide and stuff, which might open up some more funding towards it and stuff. Right now, it's a cost to the municipalities to participate in it, but again, it brings expertise to an incident in Norton that we couldn't do on our own and stuff. So I appreciate his efforts on that and stuff. He's been in town for a lot of years. He's got a wife and two
kids,
two children and stuff like that there. So again, we are looking forward to it, and again, we got the going to start right back in on the process again. So.
Deputy, you recently took a trip, didn't you, recently?
Yeah, just get back from California.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was excellent. So we went to Los Angeles for three days, Las Vegas for 2 days, and San Francisco for 2 days.
But you went somewhere to help recently.
Oh, that was, prior to that, I went to North Carolina to assist with Hurricane Florence for 10 days.
You were down there for 10 days giving me a hand.
With
and we appreciate you
36
doing that.
other people from the Regional County Technical Rescue Team.
Yeah,
Firefighter Josh Wilson went as well, correct?
Yep.
So it was quite an experience down there. Significant flooding, huh?
Yes,
So-
it was devastated for sure.
so we appreciate that because, obviously we took time from your family, Josh did too. And we appreciate you guys taking the time to get down here.
I appreciate the community support that was going to help other
Well, I
communities.
think that's,
It was funny, they went down there and they towed down a brand spanking new double-decker trailer with 2 Zodiac boats on it that the Swiftwater team has, and everything went well down there. It was a good experience, got some training in on it, and then someone ran an on-ramp and slammed in on their way back. So I don't even know if we've got the replacement trailer yet, have we? No, we're still fighting with the insurance. It was just such a slow process, but it was literally 2 weeks old. And it got,
Virginia.
yeah, so,
Right off of 95.
well, that's not good.
no, so,
Mr. Salvo, you want to read the notice, please?
Sure. At this time, to the Board of Selectmen from Michael D. Units, Town Manager, dated March 4th, 2019, regarding the notice of appointment of Deputy Fire Chief, I hereby notify the Board of Selectmen that in accordance with the provisions of Article 4, Section 2B of the Norton Charter, acting in my capacity as appointing authority, I have appointed the following individual as a full-time Deputy Fire Chief in the Norton Fire Department. Sean R. Simmons. The appointment was made on March 4th, 2019, and effective March 19th, 2019, unless the Board of Selectmen votes to accept or reject this appointment prior to said date. I especially request this Board acceptance of this appointment with an effective date of March 10th, 2019.
Questions? We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. Well, Sean, I know you've done a great job so far, and I'm pretty confident you continue to do a good job, so.
I'll try my best.
If we, oh, you will, you do a great job. Seeing nothing else, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
So,
Thank you, Deputy.
Mr. Chairman, I'll coordinate with Mr. Units. At some point in the next few meetings, we'd like to have a swearing-in ceremony,
Oh, yeah.
both for the deputy, also for Captain Blake, and I've got, I think, like 5 firefighters that are still on deck. So I'd like to have it, maybe at the library, at the cable TV studio, but I'll coordinate that with Mr.
Yeah,
Units.
plan it, we'll be there.
And thank you again for all your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have, no, we're not quite there yet. Is that a public hearing, Mike? The 15th is a public hearing, right? Can, Mr. Salvo, can you read the public notice on the
For the tanks.
Maindell LLC?
This one right here?
Yep.
At this time, there was addressed to the Attleboro Sun Chronicle dated February 14, 2019, attention to legals. Notice of a public hearing. In accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 148, Section 13, Fire Prevention License for land for fuel storage, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Norton will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 7th, 2019, at 7:15 p.m. in the Selectmen's Meeting Room, Norton Town Hall, 70 East Main Street, Norton, Mass. 02766. On the application of MAIND LLC, CO Condyne LLC, 100 Grandview Road, Suite 312, Braintree, Mass. 02184, for a license for a T-Mobile to be utilized at 10 Commerce Way, Norton, Mass. 02766, for a 11,400 gallon above-ground storage tank containing 10,300 gallon of diesel fuel, 2 11,700 gallon above-ground storage tanks containing 10,300 gallons of diesel fuel each, and 2 existing above-ground storage tanks, 3,000 gallons of diesel fuel each. The property is located at 10 Commerce Way and is identified on Assessors Map 25 as partial 83. The application on file of the Office of the Board of Selectmen and may be inspected during working hours, Monday through Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., and Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Any person interested in wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place of the public hearing.
Public hearing is open. Is there anyone representatives here from the company? Anybody here? Yeah. Evening.
My name's Corey Lonsby. I'm the facilities engineer for T-Mobile overseeing this project.
Okay. So we have a sign off from the fire department. And thanks, which is required. Can you tell us a bit about what you're doing with these things over there?
Absolutely. So these these generators are to serve an expansion, and some of it is existing there as well. So the expansion is due to normal growth in the business, and also because of the upcoming 5G technology, which probably most of you already heard about. And also a little bit of a design change. We've upgraded the design to be more redundant to the site, which requires us to put 2 in simultaneously at the same time. So these generators serve, this is our main hub for the New England area. It serves about 2.3 million customers throughout the New England area. All our E911 services come out of this site as well. And so right now we're just trying to finish up this expansion and get these generators added so we can have backup power to serve in case we lose utility power there. So
these tanks are for your generators?
excuse me?
These tanks are for your generators?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Not for fueling up vehicles or anything?
No,
These are
purely for generators. Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Anybody? Anyone in the audience? Questions? Okay, simple enough. Chair, entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Chair, entertain a motion to approve the request of Maine, MAINDLL LLC Corporation, Condyne LLC, for T-Mobile for the above-ground storage for diesel fuel licenses consisting of one 11,400 gallon above-ground storage tank, 10,300 gallon of diesel fuel, two 11,700 gallon above-ground storage containers, containing 10,300 gallons of diesel fuel each, and two existing above-ground storage tanks containing 3,000 gallons of diesel fuel each. Motion to have a second.
Second.
Further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
That's it. Good luck.
Thank you.
If you need any power, we'll come by and see you guys, right?
Must burn some fuel, huh?
Okay, next we have Next Grid to discuss a low-income community shared solar program. Mr. Units, you have anything on this?
Yeah, we have a representative here tonight from Next Grid. As you know, Next Grid is in the stages, they've filed with the planning board to construct a solar facility off of Plain Street. And this is a program that the company wanted to talk to the Board of Selectmen about. And Dan, who's here to speak tonight, is knowledgeable of this program, not knowledgeable about the solar project itself. And as you know, that's before the planning board. So Dan is just here to speak about this program.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. Massachusetts has a new solar incentive program called the Solar Massachusetts Renewable Target, or SMART program, that was launched on November 26th of last year. This is a declining block program, which means that each block gets less incentive. And in National Grid territory, as we're in here, we are in Block 7 of 8 blocks. And there are what are called adders, or additional support for policy areas that the state is encouraging. For example, rooftops get an extra 2 cents adder, carports get an extra 6 cents adder, and community solar, the idea that putting solar on a ground mount and assigning the value or the credits to individual businesses or houses also gets an adder for 5 cents. If it's for low-income community solar, it's 6 cents, which is the highest adder possible. And so the concept here is to apply that particular adder, which provides low-income residents who are our two ratepayers with an additional benefit. So in this case, it's a 2.4 megawatt system, and it will generate an additional $36,000 each year for 20 years, and this is a tariff with the utility, so it is a guaranteed $36,000, half of which, well, it's actually $72,000, half of which, $36,000, would go directly to the municipal accounts for the town to offset the town's municipal bills, and the other half will be to somewhere between 150 to 200 low-income residents. That will amount to, on average, somewhere around $200 to $250 per year, roughly a quarter of their bill, depending on the average bill size. And the idea is to have the town support this and give some credibility, lend the town's credibility to the program. A lot of people, you know, are probably receiving 1 million phone calls, robocalls from various retail suppliers, and so there's a lot of suspicion on the part of the public, which is well-founded, about retail competitive electricity suppliers. We don't want to have that happen here. So what we're trying to do is to legitimize the program, which is backed by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, by involving the town in locating the low-income residents who would benefit from this.
So the program you're talking about is the one that's being proposed on Plain Street, on Plain Street, which really hasn't been approved, or it's just beginning in the...
It's in the process, yeah.
So if that facility does go through, then this program kicks into place? Is that how it works?
Yeah, once the project's approved by the planning board and it is approved by the utility, which is called an interconnection services agreement with National Grid, and then we would go to the Commonwealth Smart Program Administrator and have them grant the statement of qualification for this project to be a low-income community solar project.
Okay, the $36,000 that you give to the town every year, do you earmark where that goes, or is it up to the...
It goes to various municipal accounts, so you would assign the library or the town hall, or whatever electric bill you wanted to have, and you can change it twice a year. So say you close, I hope you don't close the library, but if some facility that is being assigned those credits is closed down for whatever reason, for renovations, you can reassign those credits to a different account number over the 20-year life of the program. And this is also separate funds from the pilot, or the payment in lieu of taxes. So that's in addition to this.
And the 150, 200 town residents, how do you determine?
Well, they would have to be qualified as low-income ratepayers. And I think it would be good to put out a public notice and have people sign up.
Again, this isn't going to kick in until, or if the project is approved on Plain Street.
Right, the project on Plain Street has to be approved in order for this to have a revenue stream, clearly.
In up and running?
They could sign up once it's qualified as a project. It could be, they could subscribe. The funds won't be released until it's up and running and producing electrons. But that's the idea.
Okay. Questions? Anybody? Mr. Graham?
Do you have any idea what constitutes low income?
Again, it's on your electric bill, if you are qualified, it will have a low-income discount. So it's pretty clear if somebody is receiving that benefit from the utility, they are qualified as a low-income ratepayer.
So you,
I don't know what the income levels are because it depends on family size, but again, it's usually through the Community Development Corporation or the CDC that they are applying. But in this case, it would be an R2 ratepayer. That would be the classification.
And it would be just a portion, obviously, of the rate. The rate would be
Roughly 20 to 25% of their bill, depending on their usage. So if you're paying $50 to $60 a year, then a month, you'd be looking at $15 to $20 in subsidy.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
It's definitely worthwhile for somebody on a low budget, on a fixed income.
So, Mr. Eunice, we don't have to take any action on this at this point, right?
And what are you going to be looking for from the board? A letter of support or?
A letter of support, endorsement of the program, credibility, so when we go to these low-income ratepayers, we can say the town is supportive of this. Again, like I said, there's been a lot of fraud and misrepresentation in the electricity sector, which I'm sure everybody has received phone calls numerous times unnecessarily. So in order to distinguish this program from all of that other noise, I think it's important to put the credibility of the town behind it.
If the board would just have me work with the company to develop the parameters, things that we're going to have to do, and I'll bring that back in
Yeah, I
a
mean, I
future
think we're
meeting.
kind of premature because we're just starting the stages of going through, actually looking at the solar farm itself. So we're pretty much in the early stages of that. And obviously, if it does get approved, then obviously we want to take advantage of anything we can.
Well, we want to do this in parallel because in order to make the finances work for the overall project, we need to have this factored into it. And for reference, the city of Newton did a similar project with a carport at their DPW yard about a year and a half ago, and they did it with ABCD, the Low Income Community Development Corporation, and that was a success. So it's not the first time this has been done, but it's the first time they have the town really get behind it. So.
All right, so why don't you work with Mike and you can get back to us and tell us what action we have to take in the future.
Okay.
That's good. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll leave my card if you.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have updates on the payroll software. Mr. Units?
Someone has a question.
Oh,
Ken off from 540 Drive. I just have a quick question. Who's splitting the driveway? Just a clarification question. Is this the project that they want to build, I believe, a 1.2 megawatt solar farm behind the school on Plain Street?
It's the one on Plain Street, right?
Okay, so that project will be about 100 feet away from the children?
We're not going to discuss that tonight.
I'm just asking, is that the
We're in-
project
We're
they're
in the
talking
very
about?
early stages of
All
that.
right.
We have a meeting set up for 2 weeks from now, where they're going to come in and explain to us what their proposal is also. We're kind of in the dark on it ourselves.
I just want to make
We
sure
need more
that
information.
the townspeople are being represented for the health and safety, and this is what the job here of the board is. Also, just for clarification or notification, on your National Grid bills starting in January, there is a charge for the solar incentive program that's behind the SMART plan. So in essence, we, the taxpayers, are paying for the SMART plan.
Okay. Good to know.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Updates of the payroll software.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that the last time we talked about it, I had mentioned that we're about to run a test where the payroll from the police department would come over automatically to the treasurer's office, and that was done last week, and it was successful. So we're looking to move forward and.
So you're going to use the same payroll program that the police department's presently using?
Right.
And you're going to try to broaden that out to other departments, including the schools, right?
If they would want to go with that in the future.
Well, I think the whole intent here, the whole purpose of this whole exercise is that all the town departments get on one program and get it done.
Yeah, I know, I just can't tell them.
No, you can't.
What to do.
But if it's a
I'm just-
policy, I think we have to stand by it and make sure that we're all doing the same thing. In the future, it'll save us a lot of money, and that's the purpose behind the whole program. So, once we get the town up and running, I know I would expect the schools to do the same. If there's a problem, get back to us and let us know what the problem is.
Yep.
Have you met with Dr. Beata to go over this?
We've talked about it. They have Harper's also, so.
So has the decision already been made to go with this new company?
It's not new.
I mean-
We both, the schools and us both have Harper's right now.
Has a decision been made to hire them on to incorporate the town hall already?
Yes, yep.
And how does the program work?
How does it work?
Yeah, like, do you have to have a computer to log in and log out?
You can use your
or-
computer, or you could use your phone, like, the police can, if they're out on a detail, they can just put in the information right from their smartphone, and it goes right into the system.
So if it's somebody who doesn't have a computer job, a desk job with a computer, maybe highway, or how do they?
They would have to use a computer at the office.
So they have to go into the office, sign in on a computer?
Right, right.
Yeah, in some cases, you can use an electronic time card, too. They have machines, computers that they can go in and they can punch in and out on that, too. If you had, we could say you had an example, would be the highway department. Most of those guys probably aren't going to be sitting behind computers. They probably have smartphones, which they can plug, they can punch in on that, but the superintendent may decide just to have a time clock, where they go in, they punch in and out, on the machine itself. It all can be encapsulated and figured out and sent. It saves so much time when it's done right.
So part of the reason why we're looking at this was to get a handle on clocking in, clocking out. I don't know if I like the idea of people clocking in from their cell phone. Like, where's our management over that? Like, can I clock in from my house
Well, it's-
on my cell phone?
Any from anywhere you are.
See, when we started talking about this, I thought we were talking about swiping something at the,
Isn't there a geographic tethering to it where you're going to be within a certain
It's,
distance from your?
it's not like you're gonna, every day, it's when you put your payroll in, at the end of the week, people have timesheets, they're gonna put their timesheet information in. It's not a time clock. In order to do a time clock, as I've said before, when this has come up, that has to be negotiated.
Well, when we do the new union contracts, we should negotiate it. My understanding of the program is to get away from the paper and pen.
Right,
And
exactly.
electronically do everything.
Yep.
When you come to work in the morning, somewhere you punch in and out for lunch, and you go home at the end of the day electronically. We shouldn't have anybody sitting at a desk anyplace transferring from paper to electronic.
Right, no,
Versions of it.
they won't be doing that, they just be putting it
They
in.
can punch in any way they can, but there's a lot, like Mike said, there's a lot of options out there too. I used to use electronic myself in the business, and my problem was, as you said, I used to have people still at home who were supposed to be out in the field punching in, and I don't know where the heck they were. I didn't know if they even came to work that day. I had no idea of knowing it. So, as we get more into this, we'll probably have to negotiate some kind of guidelines where this is how you punch in, this is how you punch out. But someone's gonna be responsible for these people that are doing it from a satellite, place. They have to, someone's gonna be responsible for them. That's all first. Yeah, okay.
Well, I thought one of the advantages of this, and the main idea of the satellite thing, was the example of the police details, where they don't come to the station. They drive to, like, 95 West Main Street and meet the electric company, and then they follow them around as they're doing. So it's not like they are at the station to punch in. So, and I'm sure that there are technological things that they can probably have to ping off of a certain tower to make sure that they're in the right area. But I thought that was part of the majority of the police involvement, was the fact that it made tracking the details more accurate. I don't know the word, not accurate, but more efficient.
Right, and everything has to go to the department head, who then has to approve everything before it gets sent in.
What we used to do is at the end of the week, we would review everything, and then transmit it to payroll, and they would generate the checks from there. What it also does, it keeps track of all your time, like vacation time, sick time. You can accrue it automatically. You can go in at any time and get your W-4 form or W-2 or whatever you might need, and all of that information is available. So I think it's important that we, we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, And I think very important that we use it right. Once it's up and running, and we roll it out to, say, the schools, we should already know how we want this system to work.
Can we have a representative come in and explain to us how it's going to work before we make a decision to go forward? Obviously, the way the police department works is different than the rest of town government, right? I get the details. I also get that we're not paying for the details, so that's not as much of a concern as mine. But the other thing is don't and again, 99% of our employees don't have the problem. It's going to be that one person that ruins it, right? But I don't think I understand why it has to be negotiated. You must have to prove that you come to, why is proving coming to work and leaving work a negotiable item?
I don't make those rules. It's just the way it is. I mean, we tried once before, we had a time clock. It was tried to be put in place, and the union filed a grievance, and they won the grievance.
So we negotiate in the next contract.
That's what we need to do in the next set of contracts.
But at the same time, we need to get the school department involved too, so we're all negotiating the same stuff.
Right, so I think we need to figure out what we want to do before we commit to any company at this point.
Do you want to have someone come in from the company to explain the system to us? I mean, some of us, I'm sure, have used it before, others haven't, so it might be beneficial to have somebody come in and talk to us about it, explain how it works.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment. I know we have employees that work 37 and a half hours a week. My thing that I don't want to run us into the ground is if we start punching clocks and then we start running into overtime under the labor laws, what are we entitled to do if they prove that they worked more than 37 and a half hours a week? So if that's being recorded, what is our legal point?
They pay them.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, could this cost us more money in the long run or less money?
Well, no, it's up to the managers to control their employees. So, if you go over 1 week, you get a verbal warning. You have to work your hours, and that's
It'd
it.
be more of an advantage to the employee.
It would be managing your employees, that's all. It'd work the other way, too.
Yeah, exactly. It does.
And a person can say, how come you only worked 35 hours this week? And want an explanation as to why that happened.
My time clock adds up every day to the
Yep.
penny.
My
At the end
people
of the
always
week,
knew
I
how many
don't
hours they had in
submit
already.
it.
They already knew it. And many a time they come to you at the end of the week and say, I'm gonna be an hour over, okay, then you're gonna have to leave an hour early, But don't do it again. Okay, so you have someone come in?
Yep.
Next, we have the Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School budget presentation. Sorry, gentlemen, for taking so long. How are you?
Good evening, thank you.
See you.
So Mark Morris, the School Business Administrator for Southeastern Regional. I also want to let you know that also the School Committee Representative for the Town of Norton, Dennis Feely, is here with me as well tonight. Does everyone have, I think they were handed out.
Yep.
Perfect, awesome. Great. So I'll start right on the first page. So quickly, just to let you know, the FY20 budget here that we have is a recommended budget. The school committee hasn't voted the budget as of yet. We do have a meeting on March 12th, this coming Tuesday, and at that time, we're hoping that the school committee will vote the budget at that time. That being said, our total budget for FY20 is $28,589,574. That's made up of $16,745,721 of state aid, $9,789,477 of local assessments, $125,000 that we're funding through our excess and deficiency account, giving us a total foundation budget of $26,660,198. That's all in that first block there. Following there. The next block there is the transportation of our students. So obviously being a regional school, we have transportation costs that total $1,567,651. And this is where I tell you every year that it's important when you speak to your legislatures and your senators and your representatives to let them know that regional transportation is to be funded at 100%. But it's always in the state law that it depends on the availability of funds. So last year we were funded at 76% of regional transportation. That being said, local assessments being $548,563 and $1,019,088 coming from state aid. If that was funded at 100%, you'd see that the actual local assessment piece would be zero to the communities. So that's our push always, is our goal is to get them to fund that transportation piece at 100%. Then again, we also have our capital improvements. As you recall, probably roughly in 2011, we finished our expansion project over at the school. That project payment is $361,725 that we pay yearly. Again, we fund that with $169,725 from our adult educational receipts, and the local assessment is $192,000, which has been the same over the last 10 years at least that I've been there, and I've gone back further. It's always been that same amount. On page 2, or unless there are any, well, I'll quickly go over the overview. If you want to come back and ask any questions, I'll be happy to answer any questions. On page 2, just quickly, you'll see that Southeastern's enrollment has grown from last year. So we've grown from 1,509 students to 1,531 students, a total of 22 students. And made up from the town of Norton, there's an additional 4 students. So if we went from 92 to 96 in the town of Norton. And that makes up 6.3% of our total enrollment in Southeastern.
What is the population? What's your allowed population over there? How many
I'm sorry?
kids can you have? How many people can you have?
We're very close to that's 1531. We're at our max there. The next page, obviously the most important page, probably to answer some questions. The FY20 assessment for the town of Norton is $1,172,402, and that's an increase of $125,106 from last year. And again, our total budget, we are at net school spending requirements, so we're at the minimum that we're required to spend at the regional school.
Okay.
On the next page is just a budget comparison back from FY14 through FY20. So you got some comparative history there, some data if you wanted to take a look at that. Highlighted in the yellow block is our increase for FY20 of 4.7% increase from the FY19 budget. On the next page, you'll see, I know we kind of, in the last 2 years, this is a new page that we've included in the budget presentation. Every community usually asks, how much are we paying for our students to go to Southeastern? This is to break down that every community pays the exact amount. It's just the difference is how much is in state aid. So you can see that red piece of the pie chart determines the state aid that the state gives each community. But in total, the total cost for each community is the same. The only control we have over is that very small blue piece at the top of the bar graph. The rest, again, is between state aid and local assessments that are determined by foundation formula through the state of Massachusetts.
Anyone ever figure that foundation out?
They're actually in the process of relooking at the foundation.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea, because what I understand is no one can really, the person who would actually develop this needs even.
I think you need an MBA just in the foundation. The next few pages are really just some geographical and historical information based on the town of Norton, their net school spending, their cost per pupils spending, and also the town growth factors and things of that nature. The good news is the state has the municipal growth revenue factor for the town of Norton at 4.47%, which is a good number. That shows that the town's prosperous, the economy's well in the town, values of properties are going up, and incomes are going up as well. The bad news on that part is that the state said that you can afford to pay more, obviously, because you're doing well.
Yeah, we run into that all the time.
The second to last page is just a quick, just to kind of give you a little insight. Your overall enrollment for the town is down from 2,524 students to 2,433 students in the Norton Public Schools. It's up from 92 to 96 at Southeastern, and it's up from 10, it's down from 10 to 7 students at the Bristol County Aggie. So that being said, overall, your populations and school-aged children are down, but then the increase to Southeastern Bristol County is also up, so you can see that as well. So that's just a quick overview of the foundation budget. I'd also like to go over a few things going on at the school, but I can answer any questions you have first, if there are any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Anybody?
Do you have any capital projects coming up, or where are you with all your capital?
So as of right now, we don't have anything in the works. There is some talk that we may be expanding an arts program, but again, that's still very bottom. Again, we're at the beginning of that process, so nothing as of right now or for next year in plan.
I mean, you guys are pretty much self-contained anyway. You pretty much
Correct.
do everything yourself, repair your own equipment.
Again, if we were to do any capital project and have to come to the community, all the communities would have to vote on that project to be completed if we didn't pay for it ourselves, have some type of
I
revenue.
have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
You don't have the masonry program anymore.
We do not. So I've been at the school for 10 years now, and the masonry program has not been.
Because of the interest?
It's really just, we look our departments and our principals and our superintendents look very at the economy, what's going on out, what's in the business world. And masonry is really, in this area, it hasn't been something of peak interest. Yeah.
I own a company, I know it's tough to find people today, and
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of people out of the school. During the summer program. Just, future.
No, definitely. We're always looking, again,
Thank you.
we're always trying to make changes and what's in demand.
Great.
And that's a perfect segue into what I was just going to talk about. As of right now, we have 140 students in co-op programs, with over 24 of our shop areas being involved in those. We just received in the last 3 years over $300,000 in capital skills grants, which helps us with our advanced manufacturing and welding programs. So we're seeing a big demand in that field. So we're expanding those programs, and there's an interest in the students as well to be in those fields. Our plumbing program is very popular, electrical, carpentry, culinary. Legal and protective program has been, just taken off the ground. Students are very interested. Big demand out in the legal field, whether it's attorneys, police, anything of that nature. It's just a program that's been very, very well accepted, and it's taken off.
Mr. Yunus?
We had an intern working in our highway department
Okay.
this year, and I know that Southeastern is going to be working with Jennifer Carlino down at Camp Edith Reed to do some work.
Great, yeah, overall our programs, we're very proud of, again, the 140 students out in co-op, getting some real-life experience, helping these different manufacturers, different employers, to show their skills and to be able to help out and be there. Again, if you've never been to the school, or if you have been to the school and haven't been there for a while, please come by, take a tour. I think you'd be very impressed to see what goes on at the school, what the students are doing on a daily basis. You know, you walk into our legal and protective, program, it's a mini courtroom that we have there. And then we have, instructors, again, from retired judges, retired police force. They're helping the students, getting them engaged, and making them a productive individual.
Yeah, we were talking, I had a conversation with some school folks here in Norton last week. We were talking about the importance of encouraging high school seniors that don't want to go on to further education to get into some of the trades. Now, you guys have a program, adult program.
So we have our STI program as well. So our STI program, we open that up to students that, again, if they graduate from the high school or even out in the public, and they want to continue on, whether it be LPN, HVAC, dental assisting, we offer those programs as well for the adults to come in.
And how much do you, I mean, I'm sure the programs are different, but is there a charge for that?
There's a tuition fee, correct. So,
Tuition
yeah,
fee?
there is. And we offer financial aid. We're Chapter 70 certified, 74 certified, so we can actually help out and get some financial aid for those students. And a lot of the area workforce investment boards, they're willing to pay for some of that training as well. So if they have students and there are grants available to them, they'll take advantage of those and get some money to help them educate themselves and further.
Yeah, I think-
But that being said, 98% of our students graduate. Over 77 to 80% go on to either a 2 or 4 year college. So again, even though they're in a trade school, they're further in their education at the same.
My comment was, we hand out scholarships every year to our seniors,
Definitely.
and perhaps we should be handing out a couple of them to a facility like yours where we could help someone who maybe doesn't have that kind of money to take the next step.
Yeah, definitely.
We should probably have some kind of a scholarship program for the trades.
We'd love to
help
definitely
you
talk to you
out.
about that or set something up for the future. That'd be great.
Something we may have to look into.
That'd be great.
Anything else? Mr. Feely,
Yes, sir, how you doing?
how are you?
Good.
Anything you want to add?
We just talking about the STI programs. We go to all the graduations, when the high school graduates. How many graduation classes? It's gotta be 400. That's a great question. Kids go by, it gets minor. Come to a graduation of the nursing program, to have the audience be with their husbands, wives, the kids, because they've graduated high school, they came back to go to school for this, and now they're gonna go on to be some type of licensed nurse. Extremely emotional graduation. There's an awful lot of tears that go on. That's my favorite one every year, it's every June, July. It's a very big program.
Yeah. I've had some personal experience with your high school. My daughter attended your high school. She graduated, she went out, tried the college thing, it didn't work out for her. She went back to your programs, your adult programs. She graduated. Today she does pacemakers and defibrillators, installs them, helps them, monitors them, takes care of them. And my wife graduated from your nursing program. So I'm familiar very, very much with the school and how it works, and you can't get better for your buck. You guys do a terrific job over there, you really do.
Actually, a quick date maybe to keep in mind, on April 9th, our STI, our technical educational students from the culinary program, they're going to be doing what they call a taste of STI. So they're going to be having different food vendors themselves doing that, and the Phantom Gourmet is going to be there. So if anyone's interested on April 9th.
April 9th?
Yeah.
I've been to those. Those are worth going to, believe me. They're great, they definitely are. Mr. Bramwell.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention, my wife also graduated from the nursing program over there.
It's great to hear, yeah.
Went back when our daughters were in middle school and taught them how important she thought education was. And to just mention the emotions of the families being there. And I just happened to be going through an album with some of the pictures of my wife being capped and pinned, and some of the memories. And it was a wonderful 2 years she spent there, and she learned an awful lot and remained friendly with numerous instructors. She'd go back there and visit with them when she could.
You know, that makes our job, every day we go to work to educate the students, give them what they can, and then to see them flourish, and then to hear all these great stories really makes it worthwhile.
And then you mentioned the culinary arts. I'm not sure why we were over there, but I did attend a function over there and had a meal prepared by the students. And at the time, I remember saying that I had recently been to several weddings put on at the Johnson and Wales facility down in Seekonk.
Okay.
And by far, the meal we got at Southeastern just blew the Johnson and Wales thing right away. It was incredible, the food that they prepared.
Well, that's another opportunity as well. From 11:30 to 1 during the week, our high school students run our colonial room, which is open to the public. And on Tuesday nights, over the course of, I want to say it's roughly from December through roughly the end of March, on Tuesday nights, the STI, which is the adult program, they run the colonial room in the evening on Tuesday night. So it's actually open for dinner to the public. And they run that on Tuesday nights.
Not bad. We have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else? Well, thanks so much for making your
All right.
presentation. Good
Thank you
luck.
so much. All right, have a great
Okay,
night. Thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have next on the agenda. We have the vote to, actually, we have to set the special town meeting, Mr. Yunus.
Yep, the recommendation would be to open the special town meeting tonight. The warrant would be open. On March 8th, we'll notify all departments, boards, and committees of a deadline to submit articles. It'll be published in the newspaper on March 8th, and the ad will go to the newspaper on March 8th, published on March 12th, and the warrant will close at 4 p.m. on March 19th, and it will be forwarded to the Finance Committee, the moderator, and the town clerk on April 10th, and we'll post the special town meeting warrant on April 26th, and post with recommendations on May 1st. And the special town meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. Within the annual at the Norton High School.
That'll be on a Wednesday this year,
Wednesday, yep.
15th. Any questions? Chair, entertain a motion to open the warrant for the 5/5/19 special town meeting.
Moved. Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, on the old business, we have nothing. Town manager's report.
Just some updates on the Elm Street remediation work. The coffer dam has been removed. The coffer dam was the dam they set up when they were doing the removal of soils on the bank. That work has been completed and the bank has been stabilized, so they've removed the coffer dam. And the state DEP is moving forward this month with asbestos abatement on the small shed by the smokestack. And they have to get that done this month because EPA plans on taking down the smokestack and remove the underground storage tanks in April.
Hopefully when the snow melts. Right?
Yeah, I know. Bad timing.
You were doing pretty well down there until last week.
Yeah.
You're still working on it.
Yeah. And just a couple updates, we did receive information on, as you know, when you have a TIF under the Economic Development Incentive Program, the companies have to provide reports to the state every year on how they're doing and meeting their goals. And we have two here tonight, and just a couple things to point out. One is Home Market Foods, and Home Market Foods hired 22 people to work at the site in Norton, and there's 12 new hires in 2018, and one of those full-time workers is a Norton resident. And the next one is Waste Management, and Waste Management hired 37 employees in 2018, and 5 of those employees are Norton residents.
So they're within the guidelines that we've established on the pilots and the TIFs. Any questions on those?
And Want to let you know that Paul DiGiuseppe, the Planning Economic Development Director, has been working with Serpide. We want to look at doing a new master plan for the town, and Serpide has agreed to award $20,000 to Norton towards that work. And they'll be scheduling a kickoff meeting sometime in mid-March for that work. And also, we did receive a letter from Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and stating that we're excited to continue to partner with Norton as you implement your chosen best practice. Best practice 1, energy and environment, sustainable development and land protection. Complete a master or open space and recreation plan to guide land conservation and development decisions, including zoning and land acquisitions. Next step, the Commonwealth will provide the town with a community compact grant that will help support a new master plan. So the state is also going to be working with us towards that, so we'll see what we can receive on that. And also from Karen Polito, we received a letter applauding the town for choosing and finalizing the complete streets and safe routes to school best practices. That's many of the people, residents and the schools and the planning department and selectmen worked on that with also Serpide helped us on that, developing a plan for safe routes to schools and improvements that we can make in the future.
Are they going to give us any kind of funding or help with these programs? You know?
There is, when we start construction, if we're going to build sidewalks, there is some money available.
Yeah, I think the big priority on this whole program, Safe Route program, was putting sidewalks somewhere near our schools.
Yep.
Well, most of our schools don't
Yep.
even have a sidewalk.
And I just want to let you know that the school department is letting us use the auditorium on March 20th. We have 2 public information sessions on that night. At 6 o'clock, there'll be a presentation on the adoption of the stretch code, which is on the warrant for the town meeting. And also, there'll be a presentation on the Town Hall Community Center project at 7 o'clock. So if anyone, if you can spread the word, let people know that'll be the opportunity to come and hear about those 2 things that'll be on the warrant.
Frank's not coming, right? Frank's going?
No, he had a death in the family. That's it.
We had Frank Fournier, the interim water superintendent, coming to talk to us about the new water plant, but he had a family emergency, right? So he wouldn't be able to attend tonight, so we'll get him in the next meeting. Clerk's report mail. Salvo.
I don't have anything. I have a question. I was understood today that we're gonna have another opening on the Water Sewer Commission,
There's,
expected one.
this election,
This
there's
election.
1 seat that nobody has taken out papers for,
So it'll be a write-in, if you're interested,
a write-in
Or
or
a joint.
or an appointment.
joint meeting.
It's very important. It's gonna be a very important position to fill. Hopefully, somebody will come around.
And once again, after our 3 attempts to make it appointed rather than elected, we're going to make another appointment.
Yep.
Again.
Yep. I hear you.
Mr. Bramwell.
Over the course of the past week, I've had 3 people approach me about Camp Edith Reed and the gate being locked, and I'd be interested in maybe, because that just ties into my pet peeve about the conservation land always being locked, the Rose Farm just down the street, and if we could maybe post something someplace about plans, when we plan on letting people utilize these things, I'd appreciate it, because I don't understand it myself. And
Yep.
like I said, I've been frustrated with other conservation properties that nobody seems to be able to access.
And it will be open once the house is torn down and we get that parking lot in. I haven't been down there. Were they able to start work on demoing the house before the snow, or?
It was just, no,
Yeah.
I think
Not
they,
yet.
because all they did was plow just beyond the
Yeah.
fence. But up until that point, there's been, no bad weather, and people have been interested in the fact that they like to go down, and walk the trails, explore what's down there.
Yeah, I think that the big plan is to knock down the house, make a big parking area in the front, allow people to walk in from there. I'm not sure what the intentions are as far as driving up to, say, the lodge or the clubhouse or whatever that might be out there. I don't know if that's the intent or not. It would be to have a big parking lot in the front and allow people to walk beyond it.
No, because it would always just be vehicular traffic all the way down
Yeah.
to the back.
We'll have to check into it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Mrs. Steele?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Flaherty?
All set, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Next, we have, I do have something actually in the report. Talking to the superintendent about all the big pieces of land in town being bought up and being utilized for other purposes. And the school superintendent, we had a conversation this morning about, pieces of land that abut property we own as a town, and how they're sold. We're not even aware that they're being sold. He was asking me, is there such a thing as a program? I know under 61A for the farmers, under the farmers exemption, we have the ability to first option on any parcel that falls like the old farm on Winter Street. We had that option too, available to us. Is there any way we can look into a program where anything over a certain amount of acres that's being sold off, we're made aware of it in advance, in case we maybe want first option on it? Is there such a thing? I don't know if there's such a program or not.
No, but
I mean, land is going
we
fast.
can check into it, but I would say there isn't. I mean, obviously with state land, we can have first option if they're selling land, but but private land, they don't have any requirements to let us know.
Well, Hill Street, we could talk about that forever.
We didn't
Oh,
get any
that-
option.
Yeah, we found out after the fact. We've got land on Pine Street that has the old Belfour Farm that looks like someone has an offer on that land for a number of homes that they're gonna put in there. But that butts up against school property that we already own, or for town forest land that we already own. So it would be nice, could you look into, maybe just bounce it off town council? Is there a program that we may, I don't care if no one's ever done it before, can we have a program in place where at a certain amount of acres, if you're gonna sell it, at least let the town, make the town aware of it, so if we have the money, maybe we wanna buy it, and if we don't, then obviously the person can sell it. I'm not talking about trying to hold anybody up on the sale. I'm talking about just making us aware of it. We don't have many big parcels in town anymore. They're pretty much all gone, but it would be nice to know in advance. So could you check into that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure there's a program like it, but 61A, the agricultural exemption, that's exactly, basically the same idea, the same concept. See if we could do something with it.
I'd just like to bring up one thing before we end this meeting tonight. I should have talked about it earlier. I just like to thank the highway department and their crew for a Monday snowstorm that was unforeseen after the last minute of prediction of the amount of snow that we had. They really worked their butts off to get the streets open, and they had a hard time doing it. But, for the most part, those people don't get enough credit. All they do is get a lot of flack because people don't like snow in their driveways or mailboxes or whatever the case may be. It's not that easy doing the job. So, I just like to throw a kudo out to them and thank them for what they did in such a short, long 15 hours.
Yeah, they did a good job. And I think the amount of equipment we have we have one truck that was down because it got T-boned at the last snowstorm. So the big equipment that we normally had, we didn't have all the stuff we normally need, so they were able to maintain it and hold it together, so. And that stuff was heavy. If any of you guys shoveled like I did, you know how heavy that stuff was.
Yeah, it was.
Like moving cement in some places. Anything else on the report? Okay, under payroll warrants and invoice warrants, Chair entertain a motion to approve payroll warrant PR 19-18 for the week ending February 23rd, 2019, warrant dated February 28, 2019, in the amount of $1,363,171.24.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Chair entertain a motion to approve invoice warrant AP 19-35 dated February 28, 2019, in the amount of $1,197,547.88.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Chair entertain a motion to approve invoice warrant AP 19-36 dated March 7, 2019, in the amount of $1,077,553.89.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. We have a set of minutes. We have the January 10, 2019 executive session and the February 21st, 2019 minutes. Have you all had a chance to read them over? And if so, Chair entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Can we separate them?
Okay. So let's do January 10, 2019. Chair entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes as written. A motion?
So moved.
Do we, the three of us.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
Well, it had to be three of us there, so.
Hey, were you there that night? Oh, yeah. Talking about your.
Bob, you can second.
I'll second.
Well, according to this, it was myself, Mr. Salvo, and Mrs. Steele.
Yeah, I was there then, okay.
Must have been exciting. We have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Three in favor?
Present.
Present.
Abstain.
Or abstain. Chair entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 21st, 2019 as written.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Present.
We have four in favor and one present. Okay, next agenda is open at this point. You have anything, Mr.?
Chairman, I think I'm going to have Ashley Nichols come in from Flaky Crust to let us
Okay,
talk about
good.
her business
Yep.
and how she's doing and what she sells, so that's my goal, to try to have that happen.
Okay.
Is that open?
Yes.
Yes, Peter's been there, huh? We also have the water superintendent, interim superintendent, in. Talk about everything.
Yep.
Okay, anything else? Nope. Chair, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You have a question, if it's on the agenda, we'll talk about it. If it's not, we're not talking about it. Come on up. I'll determine if it's on the agenda or not.
It's in regards to the petition that was submitted to the town this morning.
Can't talk about it. First, let me tell you how the process works. You submit the bill, and town clerk has to certify it. She has to bring her people in and certify it. We just found out about it an hour and a half ago. So once we get that information, then we'll deal with it. I suggest you come to the next meeting, we probably will be talking about it.
I was hoping that we could get the same treatment that the next Sun company got in January, where it was, the 14 days wasn't utilized, the momentum was a lot quicker than
Once we
14
get the
days.
information, we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Any motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion second?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.